Hey everyone, welcome back to Draw by Annie channel. I'm very glad to see you back with me, and this is part 1 on a big project that I'm going to draw for you. So today I'm going to color left side of the sketchbook spread. Grab your tea, coffee, and I suggest you grab slightly more this time because this is gonna take a while. Let's start. So today is a big project day. I felt like drawing this again challenge. It would be very fun to do for me because I was scrolling through my old sketchbooks and drawings on my computer, like an art archive, because I obviously draw too much. So I found these cute little drawings for my original characters that are coming from my fantasy world setting, and their name Arietta, and her sister name on the other side of the page is Arietta. I have found 2 drawings that I wanted to make a redraw of, but instead of making like a separate drawings for this, I made them into a one project, because one drawing was featuring both sisters looking at each other like through the mirror because they're twin sisters, and the other one was the Chibi version, like they were standing to each other showing off their designs of the costumes. So for this challenge, it's not that I'm completely redrawing it copy-paste, like, and then just making it better this time. Instead, I wanted to showcase how their design has changed actually, because in original, these 2 sisters and these characters I made, they were for Assassin's Creed series that was made like in 2000s, I believe. Back then I was playing a lot of these Assassin's Creed series games. I started with the first one on the PC, and then I went straight to the second one because it was a long time out. By that time when I started, it wasn't new at all, and I didn't have my computer back when it was like released, so I played it way after the game was released actually, so all the hype was down, but I still heard a lot of good things about the game, so I decided to play. And then I was so impressed by the characters and the story that I decided to make my own original characters to fit into the same setting. And I would draw comics and manga about my characters interacting with the characters of the game, Altair and Ezio Auditore. I think it was for the Assassin's Creed 2, because the sisters, they're also coming from like an Italian background, so they would be in the same country, so they would have a chance to, you know, meet actually and logically meet in the world. So and they were also like assassins. They were part of the clan, and they are enemies with Templars clan, if I can name it a clan. By the story of the game, they were like rivals, so they were constantly having some conflicts and stuff, especially over some magical artifacts. So yeah, I wanted them to be like a part of the story, but like a sequel or a filler or something like that. Original characters I usually make with this intention. So then, after my Assassin's Creed phase was gone, I mean, I still love the game series, but like I'm not fangirling about it that much anymore. So after this time, I drew a lot of comics about it, but then my friend, he said like, there's no point in making an original character like that. Like the characters that you make, they are very much different and they are pretty much independent. So they could be a part of your own story. They don't have to be like an original character forever. So he decided he would give me this advice, and I actually took it very closely. So eventually that's how the whole setting of the fantasy world that I'm working on right now is born. So it started as an original character for Assassin's Creed, and now I have like the whole world made from scratch, and these characters are now part of this world. So that's why their design has changed a lot, because I had to kind of adapt it to the world so they would fit in, because it would be weird if I wouldn't do that. They were originally humans, but here in my settings, they are a race of Ermin, which is, they are very good with charisma statistic, and like the whole world that's made as a tabletop roleplay gaming. If you are familiar with Dungeons and Dragons, this is the same genre. Like, it's not completely copy-paste of this world, no, but I wanted to make something unique and original, so I have my own custom races, I have my own custom gods, spirits, like, you know, everything. So these girls, they are one of the 7 races that are there in the world, and they are this type of characters that are good in espionage, and then they're good with like rogue or assassin style character. You know, like if you would want to make a stealth character, you would usually pick this race. And if you wanted it to be a female character, because in my world, this race specifically, they have like 2 different animals as a core. So they are born of ermine, the girls, and the males are born of peacock. But they are both like, you know, still a part of one race, one nation, and their gods are also siblings. They're twins, but the boy is peafowl and then the girl is ermine. That's why the difference. So I made a pre-made sketch like usual. Then I'm just going in with my line art like always, but this time I'm making it super thin and not going into too much detail. I'm just marking up the sketch to not lose it during the coloring process. So as soon as I'm done, I clean it up with the eraser, and then I'm going straight in with my alcohol-based markers, starting with the skin with the lighter colors and then putting some shadows. And later on, I will be back after I land most of the base colors. I will do line art again, and I'm gonna make it more detailed and more polished. What I usually do for quick line art, I'm not really caring whether the lines are connected or not. I'm just going with the bigger strokes. They're looking a little more messy. But then after I'm landing my colors, this messiness, it kind of covers up with the coloring. And then I have all my time to make this line art look perfect. So I'm connecting lines, I'm making thicker lines where the shadowed areas are to make them a little bit more 3D and more volume, especially on the folds on the clothing. As you can see, she has these peony flowers on her shoulders, and her scarf is also the same color. So I'm marking out the areas that are going to be pink or red-pink color. And after I'm done with that, I'm going with my brown color. One of the biggest adjustments for their design is I actually made it more functional, and the clothing in this race, in this nation, actually is very, very demure. very humble, because when I was making out this race, I wanted them to be the fashion makers of the world. Like, they are very charismatic. The culture they make is then used as a line for the rest of the world to look up for. And then you see Sparrow. He decided he would stomp on my drawings because he doesn't like it. Nah, joke. Sparrow is so cute. He's checking on me because I've been working on this so long. He's like, "You're alive, human." Yes, I am, baby. So when I was designing this race and this culture, I was kind of inspired off of modern Arabic culture, especially in UAE, for example. Like, they're all about the fashion, they're all about fancy stuff, and like they like gold and expensive things. This was the biggest influence to that. So they're like very fashionable and very, very fancy and sassy. But at the same time, they are covering their ladies most of the time. For example, the normal clothing for Ignitian lady, I don't remember, have I mentioned, like their goddess name is Ignitum and her race is called Ignitians. So Ignitians, they are usually wearing humble clothes. They are still fashionable, but they are covering mostly their bodies, as for example abaya would do in Arabic culture. But like, it has the same idea, you get me, but it looks a little different. Like, for example, in other cultures of this world, they are allowed to open up knees and like feet, and there are races that are preferring beach-like clothing because they are coming from a turtle race and they don't need this much of clothing, so they are not covered as much in this case. But the males in the same culture, they can dress up wherever they want, but they're also usually wearing something like very fancy, like Renaissance clothing. I was inspired mostly off of that, like French, Italian fashion of that time and something like that. Chiarelli family is more chill about the traditions. This family that the sisters are coming from, they are a smaller branch of the family, because in the main family they had like 3 brothers. So their father was the second sibling in the main family. So he started, when he was looking for a spouse, he started like a smaller branch, and he was also not into the main family business, which is banking business. He was more into science, and in Lyria science is alchemy. So he started his branch, in this case alchemical branch, and he studied the science and he became a very popular scientist in the science circle. And then eventually he ended up being a teacher in the capital city university, alchemical university, and a part of the guild, of course. So he's basically teaching alchemy for students right now. So his daughters, they are also very good in alchemy because they had natural talent as well, as much as their father did. So that's how they ended up being also alchemical students. And they are NPC characters in my story that I'm using for the players. They could interact with them and they are receiving quests from them. They're working closely with this smaller family. So that's why I'm periodically making some arts of them and for them. So yeah, basically this family is a smaller branch and they are very chill about traditions. Their father is very demure. No, I mean, their father is very open-minded in this because he's not much into politics as his other brothers, because they have to be kind of, because they're in banking business. If I can say that, he has it a bit easier than the others. And also he makes his life and his spouse and his daughter's life easier in this case. But they are not like opening their whole bodies either. Like, it's up to them. So that's what this family is about. So Arietta, she is the older twin sister, like she was born first. She is more of a suspicious type of character. She wouldn't trust just anyone from the street especially. So she is the one that would be on guard all the time, especially with new people. But if you win her trust, if you win her friendship, she will be like the most loyal friend to you. I wanted to make her a little bit tsundere type character. If you know anime character types, tsundere is like this grumpy character that doesn't like you at first, and then if you show her friendship and love, and if you win their heart, they will be super loyal. They will also be super nice to you, or like they will be taking care of you. They can tell you something like, it's not like I care for you, but here you go. But that's what type of character Arietta's sister is. Sister Arietta. As you can see, the Chibi version, it has showcase of the whole design. A little bit tiny detailed, but that's how the style is. So you can see her tail, it's covered. Because their tails are sort of an intimate zone for the Ignitians, that's why they're covering them with this sort of tail covers or like tail dresses. And it has to match the whole outfit, of course. It's like an accessory. As if you were wearing stockings, for example. Like, they don't have to be there, but better if they are. The reason why I made Arietta this tsundere type character is that the background of the family is a little bit, it has a little dark sides. They were living in their own country for a long time, but then since they got into this alchemy thing, there is an organization that is hunting down special families. My players don't know that yet, but the family is actually a keeper of a very powerful artifact, and this organization, it is looking for this artifact for the whole time. So that's why when they had some clues on the family, they decided they would ambush and destroy it to try and get the secrets, but they didn't succeed. And Arietta, she was like, I mean, siblings were both very young at that time of the ambush. And Arietta, she remembers how she had to save her sister from the assassin. That's why she has this trauma, and she's like a little bit overly caring sister in this case, because she doesn't want to lose her sister, of course. Due to Arianna's trauma, she cannot remember that night, or like she can remember it very blurrily. So her character wasn't affected as much by these events. But Arietta, she remembers everything. That's why she's like not trustworthy to everyone. And she's like very suspicious. She would check every detail before actually trying to trust you and stuff like that. I probably should have only colored the Chibi version for you today, but I was using the same colors for the hair and for the design, like the peonies, and I just like to go back and forth using the same color. But next time I'm trying to fix this mistake, so I will not make the video too long next time. I still do hope you enjoy it with me. Thank you for your comments and support. So this Chibi version that I have on the left, the name for the style, it comes from Japanese word Chibi, which is small. It means small literally, so it's translated like that. The main features of the style is the big head, very exaggerated head, and then the body and the rest of the body is like super small. There are several proportion styles for chibis as well, and I like to make it slightly more detailed, so I make it like roughly 1 to 1.5 head ratio, like the head is 1 and then the body is 1.5. So I can put more details to the clothing and to the design. But there are also like super tiny, super chubby chibis out there that are used for emojis, for example, and I love to draw that too. But it's usually looking more doodly for me, at least because of the medium that I'm using, or I'm using just very simple doodles with no coloring whatsoever, like I'm using my lines, for example. Fine liners are great for small doodles. And if I'm bored or if I need an artistic warm-up, I could use a line art, or I could use a fine liner to make a little chibi doodle and then proceed with sketching more detailed or like semi-realistic, as I have this on the right here. So the process here is pretty much the same. Using my alcohol-based markers, putting the basic colors, base undercoloring, and then I'm going in with my darker hues and building up shadows as I go. Like they're going darker and darker, and then sometimes I'm coming back with the lighter color to kind of blend it out. If I need softer shadows, I'm going in again with the lighter color to make the transitions look a little smoother, not as contrast as if I did not do that. As you can see, this time I'm adding a lot of details to the hair. I did use a lot of different medium for this one. I don't know, I just felt like going right in and I got so overfixated to make it look perfect, so I just kept coming back and building more and more layers. I used my liners, my colored liners, then brush pens, then alcohol-based markers, like several of them for each part. And I really like how the end-up design looks like, especially the hair part. Thank you everyone who have been here with me, and I hope you enjoyed as much as I did. Stay tuned for part 2. I'm going to color Arianna in the next video. So if you want to see that as well, please stick in, press subscribe, press notifications. And then after I'm mostly done with the coloring, I'm coming back with my fine liners to enhance the line art and to make some lines thicker where they need to be thicker, like for example here in between the bangs and next to the ears and behind her spine. And then I made a little name tag with my paint pens, the ones that I've been testing in my previous videos. And this here is a final result. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and let me know what you think. Also, I would love to hear your ideas, so let me know in the comments what you would like me to draw next. If you like to see more of my drawings, please make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! It's time to have some tea and to make a little break.